Today's lesson is on histograms. So we're still working on 6.1. We are still working with the interval frequency chart, but we are going to do a histogram at the bottom. So the first step is to take our numbers, again, write them from least to greatest. Our directions say to start with 2 with a width of 5. The first step is to take that 5, subtract 1 from it, and make it a 4. Okay, that 4 is what we're taking and adding to the first number, which is 2. So if I take 4 and I add it to 2, I get 6. The next number again is 7. Add 4, I get 11. Next number is 12. Add 4, I get 16. Next number is 17. Add 4, I get 21. Then to 22, add 4, I get 26. Now I stopped at 26 because it ends up to be our last number, and it is within that interval. We don't want to keep going. We could do as many intervals as we want, but we stop when we get to our last number. So again, we are trying to figure out how many numbers are between 2 and 6. Okay, so I have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Well, the only two numbers up here are 2 and 5. So that means I have 2. Next, 7 through 11. So again, 7 through 11, there's no 7s, there is 1 8, there's 1 9, there's no 10s and no 11s, so I get 2 again. Next is 12 through 16. Well, I have a 12, a 15, and a 16, so now I have 3. Next, 17 through 21. Again, I have 3. So I'm going to put a 3 here. Last, 22 through 26, I have 1. Okay? So the next part is to make the histogram. The histogram is according to my info. I put my intervals down here at the bottom, so I put interval. And then here is my frequency. Okay? So on my frequency, I went up from 1 to 8. And I want you to do that on your paper. Just do 1 through 8 on each one. My intervals will change as I go along and do each problem. So what you're going to do is you're just going to make a graph, which is called the histogram. So I go up to 3, up to 2. I draw a line and go down, and then I kind of like shade it in. Then when I make the next one, we are to connect it with the first one. So I come over, that is also a 2, and then I shade that one. The next one, I'm going to go up to 3, and over and down, and then shade that one in. Then next is 3 again, so that's just going to be over, next over like this, and then the last one is 1, so I come over and I shade this. Now, when I look at this graph, when I look at my numbers, they do not represent a uniform histogram. This graph would be skewed. So if they are all different, we call that a skewed histogram. Okay? So I'm going to erase this real quick just so that way you know what the other ones are called. So skewed is when they all look different. Okay? So the next part is for you to see what the other ones look like. So if I have a graph that have all of them relatively the same, we call that uniform. Now the other one is called symmetric. Symmetric is when I have a graph like this. If I could draw a dashed line in the middle and fold it, this graph would be on top of this one be on top of this one, and this one splits in half. So again, uniform is when they are all across the same. Symmetric is when if I could fold them together, they would land on top of each other. So today I want you to work on problems 3 through 8. So I want you to work either in a notebook, or if you can try your best to maybe copy it. I had a student use Cami, and when she used it, she was able to write on the actual worksheet. So if you are able to do that and copy it and actually write on it and then send it back to me, I can see that you've been working on this. Or you write it on a piece of paper and find a way, maybe you can take a picture using your camera, either on your Chromebook or on a piece of paper that you take a picture of and put it on. So I'd appreciate it so I can see some of the work that you're doing. Please email me if you have any questions. Again, continue to work on 6.1, problems 3 through 8. Thank you.